listen, let me clear something up. And unless you've already watched Gallows and Anderson's podcast, then you probably don't know about this. So it was said that I was so angry with Raw that Gallows and Anderson were released. I was so angry that I said, I don't want to be in Raw anymore. That's not the way it went down at all. It was the person who was in charge of Raw who lied to me, to my face. You know, just the most believable lie I'd ever seen. Directly to my face. And
give us a story.
Well, that's it. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about Paul Heyman. Basically said to me, and here's the kicker to this whole Paul Heyman thing. There were times when we were, you know, putting other guys over, and you know, Gallows and Anderson were getting beat by one guy, and we're like, what the heck? And he's like, hey, I just need you. You got to trust me. We got to get this guy over. I mean, of course, that's what you do. You help guys get over and be a bigger star, of course. But also, you know, like, hey, you can't just bury us completely. You know, I don't mind losing. That's not even a part of it, as long as there's a good story that comes behind it. But he would be like, listen, you guys trust me. And if you guys ever think I've done you wrong, you get on social media and you bury me. You bury me to every social media you could possibly think of. He said this to us. And so it came down to Money in the Bank. I found out that my guys were getting released. I was upset. And I wanted to go talk to Vince and be like, it's already in motion. It's already been done. And then Paul Heyman pulls me into his office and tells me he had nothing to do with it. He knew nothing about it. Had he knew that Gallows and Anderson were going to get released, he would have fought for them. And that's why they didn't even tell him he was getting released. I was like, okay. I appreciate that. I understand. That makes a lot of sense. Well, I mean, listen, we understand what's going on. You know, the COVID, and, you know, people, you should have seen, you know, headquarters. It was sad. I mean, it's a huge building, and there were hardly anyone there. You know, so it sucks for everybody. I understand. Even Gallows and Anderson understand to a certain extent. I mean, you're talking about two guys who got released when they were in the main event of WrestleMania. At least one of them had maybe one of the bigger matches for sure. But it was later. I told a friend what was said, and then he told me what he knew was the truth. Is that that basically Gallows and Anderson weren't even on the list. But Paul Heyman just spoke out abundantly like, hey, we got to get these guys out of here. We don't need them. They're getting paid too much. All these things. And the one thing that Paul Heyman is good at is talking. He's very convincing. Very. And one thing led to another. Paul, you know, helped advocated for Gallows and Anderson get released. It's that simple. Their name wasn't even on the list until Paul brought it up. And I think that the reason why he did what he did, well, there's a couple of reasons. He's just a liar, and that's what they do. But it was because he knew that he had nothing that he wanted to do with them. That he didn't want to get them, you know, to the next level. You know, he didn't want to do anything for them. He didn't want to help them become bigger stars. He didn't want to do any of that. So the best way to do that after everything that he'd said to him was just boom, get him out of there. That's the real story. And the reason why I went to Smackdown is because I couldn't stand looking at him. I just can't stand a liar. I mean, I'm a grown man. You're a grown man. Why lie? You didn't even have to say anything. You know? So I just couldn't stand to look at him, and I was just like, well, you know, if and when the opportunity, you know, if SmackDown's available, I can't be around Paul Heyman. I just can't stand him. But if there's ever an opportunity, I don't mind coming over. That'd be great. I don't want to do anything now because my son, if he plays football on Friday nights, I want to be there. Well, I talked to a lot of guys about this situation. And
Robot, thank you for the gifted sub.
you wouldn't believe how many people that I worked with despised this guy because of his lies, and he'd find ways to try to throw him under the bus when he screwed up. He would try to throw them under the bus so they would get in trouble. You know, I heard this from several different people. Like, it was almost kind of hard to find someone who liked him, and I didn't know this. I just assumed everybody liked him, and I was the only one. But I think the reason why Vince is a very smart man, and he can see through a lot of crap, and I think he finally saw what everybody already knew, and said, "You know what, man, you've done some great things in the past, but you're just not well liked here. Maybe hit the bricks, and we'll let you be the advocate for Brock Lesnar. You do it well. We can't deny that, right? He's good at that. But I think that's as far as it needs to go. And the only one person you can blame for this is himself. Just don't lie to people, man. I know you probably, this is the business that he, I don't want to say grew up in, but like found a way to be successful in, probably by lying. I'm not the first guy to say this, as I found out. So anyway, it was a lot of trash, and I wanted to clear those things up.